Some men fear death, some fear pain. But the rarest warriors, they fear only one thing: a life without freedom. This is the final chapter in our Spartacus saga, and it's not about how he died, it's about why he lived and what he taught us through that defiance. Because Spartacus didn't rise for a crown, he rose because there was no life worth living in chains. Okay, here's quote number 1. I am not afraid of death. I am afraid of a life without freedom. Most men beg to live longer. Spartacus only begged to live free. He had seen death in its most brutal form, in the sand-soaked arenas where men killed each other for Roman amusement. He had stood shoulder to shoulder with fellow gladiators, not just fighting to survive, but fighting to not forget who they were. Spartacus wasn't afraid to die, but he was terrified of something else: obedience without honor, breathing without meaning. You see, when you've been shackled long enough, you don't fear death, you fear existing without purpose. His rebellion wasn't just against the Roman Empire. It was against the idea that he was nothing more than a tool. And that idea is still alive today, in systems that treat people as statistics, numbers, or roles to fill. Let me take you to a modern warrior, Harriet Tubman. Born into slavery in Maryland, she escaped and could have disappeared into a quiet life. But she returned, not once, not twice, 19 times, to help others escape. Each journey risked torture or death, but that didn't scare her. She once said, "I freed 1,000 slaves. I could have freed 1,000 more if only they knew they were slaves." Like Spartacus, she feared compliance more than consequences. Both of them teach us, you don't need to be loud to be brave. You just need to be unwilling to live chained. Here are 3 takeaways from this quote. Redefine fear. Don't fear failure or judgment. Fear the regret of never standing for something real. Make peace with risk. You're already dying a little each day. Risking everything for freedom? That's how you truly live. Choose the life that burns with meaning, even if it scorches the path beneath you. Now let's move into quote number 2. There is no greater victory than to be free. Victory comes in many forms. To Rome, victory meant domination, new territories, more gold, more slaves. But to Spartacus, true victory wasn't found in conquest. It was found in the ability to stand tall without being owned. When he escaped the gladiator school, he didn't just run, he organized. He united men from across the empire: Gauls, Thracians, Syrians, Africans, men who were strangers, now brothers. They didn't fight to enslave Rome. They fought to never be slaves again. And make no mistake, Spartacus could have escaped through the Alps. At one point, the road was open, but he didn't go, because true victory didn't mean hiding in mountains. It meant facing the monster that had stolen everything from them, and forcing it to see them not as property, but as people. Now let me give you a powerful echo from the modern world. Nelson Mandela, imprisoned for 27 years, tortured, mocked, isolated. Yet he said, "I have walked that long road to freedom. I have discovered that after climbing a great hill, one only finds that there are many more hills to climb." When offered conditional release, if he would renounce his resistance, he refused. Because being free in body means nothing if you're still enslaved in spirit. Spartacus knew that too. Here are 3 lessons from this quote. Don't confuse safety for victory. A prison with soft walls is still a prison. Freedom must be internal before it's external. No empire can enslave a mind that knows its worth. Fight battles that liberate souls, not just expand egos. Before we get to the final quote, if these words are lighting something in your chest, If Spartacus's fire is becoming your own, then stop for a moment. Like this video, comment with your thoughts, and subscribe to Conrad Warriors. Because here we don't just tell stories, we awaken the warrior inside you. Let's finish this story right. Okay, here's quote number 3. Rome calls us slaves. We shall show them we are warriors. This is the line that could break mountains. Rome gave them a name, slave. But Spartacus said, we don't accept that name. We answer with our own, warrior. Imagine being beaten daily, told you're nothing, treated like cargo, and yet still standing, still organizing, still fighting. That's not just resistance, that's rebirth. Spartacus didn't just lead a rebellion, he led a transformation. Men who had never picked up a weapon became tacticians, strategists, fearless fighters, and Rome, the most powerful empire in the world, began to tremble. Why? Because it wasn't just swords they faced, it was souls that refused to be small. Let me give you a classic mirror, the Battle of Thermopylae. 300 Spartans stood against a Persian army of over 100,000. When offered surrender, Leonidas answered, "Come and take them." Same mindset, same fire. They may call you outnumbered, but you are not outclassed when your heart refuses defeat. And now, let's go modern. Muhammad Ali. The US government called him a draft dodger, a traitor, a coward. But Ali stood before the world and said, "I ain't got no quarrel with them Viet Cong." He lost his heavyweight title, was banned from boxing. But what he gained, respect, power, legacy. Because like Spartacus, Ali wasn't just fighting in the ring, he was fighting against the label they tried to pin on him. Now here are 3 ways to live this quote. Reject their narrative. You are not who they say you are. You are who you choose to be. Let your actions rewrite your identity. Spartacus didn't argue with Rome. He proved them wrong in battle. Rise louder than their judgment. When they call you weak, rise stronger. When they call you unworthy, to rise anyway. Now let's close with this. Spartacus never wore a crown. He never wrote a book. He died before seeing a free world. But what he left behind was a flame that says, "I am not afraid of death. I am afraid of a life without freedom." There is no greater victory than to be free. Rome calls us slaves. We shall show them we are warriors. These quotes aren't just history. They're not just movie lines. They're a mirror. They ask you, are you living or just surviving? Have you chosen your name or accepted the one they gave you? Are you a warrior or still waiting for permission to rise? Because Spartacus didn't wait. He didn't ask. He simply stood. So now it's your turn. Be like Spartacus. Be unchained. Be unafraid. Be unstoppable. This is Conrad Warriors. And the fire, it's in you now. Like, share, subscribe. Let the world know. The warrior never dies. He just returns in a new form. And today, that form is you.